The next point, we should ensure whatever we see is clear.
That means work is being done. We can see that it is in opposite direction.
Hello, learners. You are welcome into another segment of our geography class. My name is Mr. Marcus Adamu, and the topic of our discussion today is on soil. And because of how large this topic soil is, we're going to deliver it in 3 parts. Today, we are looking at part 1. And the part 1 will dwell mostly on the definition and the components of soil. Now, let's look at what then is soil. Soil simply refers to the topmost layer of the earth crust on which plants grow. You can also define soil as the uppermost layer of the earth's surface on which plants grow and derive their nutrients. Soil is made up of 5 components. And these 5 components are inorganic matter or minerals matter, 2, organic matter, 3, soil water, 4, soil air, and 5, living organisms. So the inorganic matter or minerals matter, soil water, organic matter, and air, collectively, we refer to them as the physical components of the soil. While the living organism is referred to as the biological components of the soil. We are going to look at these 5 major components and the importance, effects they have on agriculture. First, we are starting with minerals or inorganic matter. Minerals matters represent small rock fragments of the soil. It forms the bulk of about 45% of the total volume of the soil. And it consists of gravels, stones, sand, silt, and clay. What are the importance of this inorganic matter on agriculture? The following are the major areas through which inorganic minerals matters are important to soil. 1, or A, it forms the solid part of the soil which provide support for plants. B, it is the main source of plants' nutrients, such as nitrogen, calcium, magnesium, and iron. C, it is the home or the habitat of all soil living organisms. D, it holds water and air for both plants and animals' activities. E, minerals matter has moderating effects and soil temperature. F, it also affects soil porosity. 2, we want to look at the importance of organic matter on agriculture. When we talk of organic matter represents the remains of the decomposition of plants and animals. In fact, it forms just about 5% of the total volume of the soil. When they are deposited on the soil and decay, it forms a dark color on the upper part of the soil called humus. What then are the importance of organic matter on agriculture? 1, it is very rich in plant nutrients. B, it is the habitat of many soil microorganisms. C, it prevents leaching in soil where it is present in adequate amount. D, it also prevents soil erosion and evaporation of soil water. E, it allows for good drainage and holds water in the soil for plant use. F, it improves the structure of the soil by binding the particles of coarse soil texture together. G, it increases water holding capacity of the soil. And H, it moderates soil temperature, which stimulates good development and growth of roots, etc. These are the importance of organic matter on agriculture. Point number 3, we're going to look at soil water. Soil water refers to the water in the soil, which is usually obtained either from rain or from irrigation. These are the 2 major sources where soil gets water. Water represents 25% of the total volume of the soil. It is usually found in soil within the pore spaces. Pore spaces are the spaces that are in between individual particles of the soil. When water is too much in a soil that is covering the soil surface, it is said to be a waterlogged. A waterlogged soil can, however, be improved through drainage to make soil more productive. On the other hand, when there is complete lack of water in the soil for a very long time, such that plants cannot absorb water even when supplied again, it is called permanent wilting point. We call it permanent wilting point. So the plants at this stage can die. Types of soil water. There are 4 major types of soil water. There are 4 major types of soil water. 1, we call hygroscopic water. Hygroscopic water. This water is tightly held by the soil particles such that it is never available to the plant. In these situations, most of the time, the water will be there in the soil. But for the fact that they are tightly held by the individual particles of the soil, thereby making it insufficient or sometimes completely not available to support the plant. Number 2, number 2 types of soil water is fill capacity water. Fill capacity water. It is the types of water left in the soil after excess water has been drained off. Following heavy rainfall, this water is available to the plants. For example, we are now in rainy season. And after each rain, you discover a lot of water running in form of running off. So after the water has been run off, then the available water that remains in the soil, which is there for the plant, is what we refer to as fill capacity water. And such water are always there. They will be there for the plant's use. Number 3, we have what we call capillary water. Capillary water. It is the types of water that rises above the water table. in the soil, and it is held in the fine and medium pores of soil particles by surface tension. It is easily available to plants. Underground, there is what we call water table. And this water table, during rainy season, the water normally rises above it, thereby making the water itself to be more available for the plants to use. During dry season, as a result of the low rainfall, this water table drops, which also affects the plants in the quantity of water that is supposed to be available for the plants to use. Then D, there's what we call gravitational water. It's the 4 types of water, soil water. And it is the water that can be drained under the influence of gravity. It is available for the plant, but is often pulled down beyond the reach of the roots of the plant. So water table, gravitational water, the water, instead of, as a result of the influence of this gravitational force, the water, instead of being within the range at which it will be available for the plant, it will move downwards. And as it moves downwards, it affects the plant. Why? Because most of the time, the roots of the plant will not be able to penetrate and reach where this water is. So that is that concerning gravitational water. Next is soil air, which is number 4 component of soil. Soil air refers to the gases present in the soil pores. The amount of soil air varies depending on the amount of soil water, the sizes of the pore spaces, the types of soil, and amount of living organisms in the soil. So the percentage of soil air is about 25% of the total volume of the soil. So what we are saying here is this, that the availability of air in a soil sample depends on the size of the pores, of the pore space. So pore space that are very tiny, soil air availability will be very, very scanty. But if the soil pores are big enough, then the living organisms that are in the soil will also have the benefits of having sufficient air. So the ability of air to circulate freely in the soil, we call it aeration. Availability of what? Air to be what? To circulate freely in a sample soil, we refer to it as what? Aeration. What then are the importance of soil air on agriculture? A, soil air, especially oxygen, is necessary for growth and development of plants. Number 2, oxygen in the soil promotes easy germination of seeds. Promote easy germination of what? Seeds. C, soil organisms require oxygen for respiration. Soil organisms require oxygen for respiration. D, soil air is needed in soil reaction, particularly carbon and nitrogen cycles. Particularly carbon and what? Nitrogen cycle. Living organisms is number 5. And what do we mean by living organism? This refers to plants and animals which inhabit the soil. The range that is, these living organisms range from microscopic organisms, that is, organisms that you cannot see with the naked eyes, to bigger organisms, which you can see with the naked eyes. Some of these living organisms are beneficial, while others are harmful to crops and livestock. The most common groups of soil organisms include bacteria, fungi, virus, nematodes, insects. A good example of insects include termites and soldiers' ants, millipedes, centipedes, earthworm, snails, raptors, and mammals. Example of mammals include rats and rodents. What then are the importance of living organisms on soil? What then are the importance / effects of living organisms on agriculture? A, they help to improve the aeration of the soil itself. 2, they help to decompose organic materials in the soil to form what we call humus. D, they improve the structure of soil. Soil living organisms improve the structures of soil. E, some organisms like bacteria helps to fix nutrients into the soil. A good example is a bacteria known as nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Then F, some are pests and parasites, while some causes disease to crops. All these are some of the importance of living organisms on agriculture. My dear students, before the assignment, I would like to summarize all that I have said concerning the part 1, soil part 1. I've started by defining soil as the topmost layer of the earth crust. In other words, it can also be defined as the uppermost layer of the earth's surface on which plants grow and derive nutrients. And I go further to look at what is soil made up of. Soil is made up of 5 major components. Soil is made up of 5 major components. And what are these 5 major components? Number 1 is inorganic or minerals matter. Inorganic matter or minerals matter. Number 2, organic matter. Organic matter. Number 3, soil water. Soil water. Number 4, we have soil air. Soil air. And the last one is living organism. All these 5 major components, they have a very important role they play on agriculture. And I've highlighted some of the importance / effects that these 5 major components have on soil. My dear students, before I go, I have an assignment for you. The assignment is question number 1A, define soil. Define soil. 1B, list any 4 components of soil and briefly discuss any 2 in 1B above. Question number 2A. Briefly explain any two types of soil water. Briefly explain any two types of soil water. B. Describe how any three of the following factors may affect soil formation. Describe how any three of the following factors may affect soil formation. B1, climate. B2, parent materials. B3, living organisms. And B4, organic matter. In our subsequent part 2, we are going to look at other forms of soil. For any clarification, you can still contact me through the WhatsApp number, that is 080-33-139-758. My dear students, stay home, stay safe, keep learning. Remember, coronavirus or COVID-19 is real. Stay safe. Thank you till we meet in our next class.